my collaborator of my little mini musical, Tango, the musical, is a fellow named Joe Illick. And Joe was the music director at Greater Miami, what Florida Grand Opera had changed its name to Miami, whatever it was, which it is now. Anyway, Joe was looking for writers who were not opera writers, and he envisioned a way to cross pollinate composers with book writers who came from different backgrounds. And somehow he found me and my friend Les Standiford and just a bunch of people. We called it Opera Camp. And we became very good friends. I kind of thought, oh my God, this was hard. we really did become friends for a long time. And they lived on, he and his wife Jenna lived on the Key. He subsequently left and became the music director at Lake George Opera and all these other places, and most recently Fort Worth Opera. But he and Jenna spend the time between their main home in Santa Fe and in Vail. And at one point they've been in Vail forever. And Alan and we had never skied. We were in our 30s, and we show up to figure out how to do this at their place. And I say, you know what? I don't think I can do this. This just doesn't make sense to a girl from Miami to, be throwing herself down an icy cold mountain. This is not going to work. And it didn't. And so I would be back in the cozy, warm apartment and writing. And I wound up writing this little, what had been a 1-minute play. I was now writing to be about an 8-minute play. So Feel the Tango began as a 1-minute play for a workshop. And then at City, the artistic director of the time was a guy named John Manzelli. He said, Susie, grow this up a little bit. And I thought, okay. So my wonderful skier companions, Joe, the composer and conductor, and his wife, Jenna, the opera singer, and my husband, a lawyer, were my actors as I would try these pages on them. And Joe kept saying, Suze, this is really a lot of fun. Let's just keep that in mind. Put a pin in it. Anyway, we did the play probably back in 2013. The play then had an iteration for a production we were doing up in Fort Lauderdale at the time called Shorts Gone Wild, which was LGBTQ material. And so the play was adapted again by myself for John Manzelli, the year of the election, 2016. Like, go write this. So we did, I did. It was a fun project, but again, a new iteration of what had been a 1-minute play to like a 7 or 8-minute play to now this. And then Joe calls and he says, Suze, what did you do with that play, that tango play? Because I'm thinking of something and I'd like to try, would you agree to collaborate with me on a mini opera? And I said, with tango? He said, yeah, with tango. Just send it to me. So I sent him the play, and he, in fact, does create this mini opera for a program of 4 operas, short operas, that he's doing for the Santa Fe Opera and another performance house. And he said, opera people don't really know what short is. So, and then he mentions all these people who are real opera people, like real opera people. And there's me and him. And I go out there to see what the heck this is. It's called Brief Encounters. And well, I have to say, we were the hit. We were the hit of the program because it was funny. It was really just delightfully funny. And he took, the words of my little play, and then he said, you're a wonderful librettist. I said, well, you've made me a wonderful librettist. I'm not quite sure what that is, but I'm so glad to be that. Anyway, you can see it on YouTube. You can see Brief Encounters and Feel the Tango, the opera, with Joe Illick and Susan Westfall. And he's done it. He did it at Fort Worth Opera too. But it was true. All of these opera people, like audiences, said, this is how opera should be. You know, it's like audiences do for us. This is how it should be. So back in 2019, before COVID, I had said, Joe, you know, next summer we're going to be doing the 25th anniversary of Summer Schwartz. Do you think you could pull off Feel the Tango, the musical? He said, yeah, I can do that. You know, let me work on that. And of course, you know, he did, but then we didn't do it in 2020. We didn't do it in 2021. And so we're doing it now. And it is, I have to say, one of my most favorite pieces to have worked on in so many ways with so many collaborators. But this was my friend Joe, who introduced me to opera in the 80s at opera camp. And I just never realized we were going to come around full circle like this.